Hello and welcome everyone to this new video of management case study interview. I'm Shivanka and we'll be going through this management case study interview together. The purpose of this video is to give you an understanding of how a management case study interview goes and what is expected of you in it. This video is divided into two parts. In the first part, I'll be going through the interview and present my understanding as we go along. In the second part, we'll analyze the interview as a whole and provide an overall analysis to it. Today we are doing a case study interview where a client is a meal coupon company, which is quite interesting, which we don't see that every day. And for some of you who are new, for your context, all the black text with blue background, which you see is the statement of the interviewer, and all the blue text with white background, which you see is the statement of the candidate. Let's begin. Your client is a meal coupon company. It is evaluating a shift from using paper coupons to a card-based system. It wants you to advise whether it should shift to a card-based system or not. So the first statement told by the interviewer in a management case study interview is one of the most important because it tells you the scope of the interview. So what we have right now is our client is a meal coupon company. It's pretty straightforward. They are figuring out whether to shift from paper-based coupons to a card-based system, and they want you to analyze it and then advise them whether they should shift to a card-based system or not. Great. I'm not very conversant with the business model of a meal coupon company. Can you please provide me insights into the company's operation and how it earns profits? Pretty straightforward. So also remember that the candidate, if you are a candidate, the interviewer is there to help you out. So at any point, if you are stuck and you don't know how to go forward, you can always ask for help from the interviewer, and he's there to help you out rather than providing restrictions in your analysis. Organizations have meal coupons to their give meal coupons to their employees, which the employees can use to have food at the workplace or use it at various retail stores and restaurants. The major advantage to employees is that they enjoy tax saving on the coupons offered to them. Okay. Uh, okay, so if I understand it, organizations pay XYZ cash to obtain coupons. They then distribute these coupons among the employees who can utilize it in canteen or in restaurants and retail stores. Yes, that is right. Coming back to the case statement, is the decision to shift driven by profitability or should I consider other factors? The major criteria for the decision would be profitability. We can examine other factors at a later stage. What is the major reason the company is evaluating this decision at this stage? The company wants to improve the convenience provided to customers. The current paper coupons is not convenient for customers. Are the competitors launching a similar system, or is the company the first to do so? The company is the market leader in the space and drives the industry trend. It would be the first to make the transition in case it decides to do so. Great. So there are no competitive pressure, and the main criteria for evaluating the decision is profitability. So I will analyze the potential increase in revenues and costs and accordingly evaluate the decision. Does this sound acceptable? Yes, you can proceed with the direction. So a typical management case study interview where it is a profitability. Okay. Where it is a profitability interview is divided into three parts. In the first part, you understand more of the business, competitive scenario, and what is the industry as a whole. In the second part, you try to structure the situation to figure out where exactly the problem coming from. And in the third part, you provide recommendations and solutions, or in this case, you provide advice whether they should do it or not. So we have done the first part where we have understood client's business and what is the intention of doing such a change. Now we are moving to the second part where we are structuring the situation where we have divided profits into revenue and cost, which is usually how a profitability interview is structured. And now we'll proceed and go deep in to these two components to figure out the problem areas. I'll start with the revenue side. The primary revenue can be expressed as a number of corporate tie-ups into number of employees divided by company into monthly allowance. Uh, okay, the primary is number of corporate tie-ups into number of employees. One company into monthly allowance. Okay. The monthly allowance I expect is driven by tax legislation and wouldn't undergo a change due to shift. The average number of employees per company also doesn't undergo a change due to the shift. If due to the enhanced convenience, the number of companies opting for the scheme increases, the revenues could increase. The next major income item for the company is interest income. It receives cash from the company upfront while it needs to make payment to the retailer's restaurant later. The company can invest the money in the interim and earn interest on the same. With increased convenience arising from the card system, the employees would end up spending the money earlier, as they are not constrained by the necessity to carry the coupons along with them. Hence, the shift can be expected to reduce the interest income earned by the company. Fair enough. If you have more liquid card with you, you'll spend it earlier because you want to get free of the hassle of carrying the card everywhere. So, I mean, not very exact possibility, but could be a possibility, and you can just go with it. That's a good point. In short term, the number of corporate tie-ups isn't expected to increase, so you can assume that the revenues will fall in short term. Great. Moving with the cost side, the major cost item would be payment to the retailer's restaurant. In the current system, it is paper-based. There is possibility of duplicate coupons. Shifting to the card system reduces the risk and results in savings. The next major saving would be in terms of printing costs. The card system is a one-time shift and doesn't require any recurring expenditure. This would enable the company to sustainably save on its printing cost. Moving to the cost of administering the card system, I want to understand how the company processes to run the card system. Does it propose to have a separate card machine or use the existing network? The company plans to leverage on the existing Visa and MasterCard network, which doesn't necessitate significant capital investment. Great. That would also mean that there is no training cost which need to be incurred to explain how the system works to the retailers or restaurants. Before I summarize, I want to check whether there are any cybersecurity issues which could arise due to shift to the card system. That's a good point. You can assume there are no cybersecurity issues which arise from the shift. What is your suggestion for the company? I think the company would have a have the company would save significantly on the pricing cost and the administrative cost, while this could lead to a reduction in the interest income. I expect this to be compensated by onboarding additional customers in the long run. That's a good analysis, but there's one impact of the change which you are missing out on. Okay. The interview is directing us to think about a different situation which we have not thought of. Sure, I'll take a minute to respond. Take your time if you it's always a good practice actually. If you're not having anything in mind, don't start blabbering anything which comes in your head first. Take your time, think it through, and then respond. You'll actually come up with very good answers, and you don't get any negative marking for taking a break and a minute break in between. I think I missed a fundamental thing in the business model understanding. Not all coupons will be utilized by the customer. So let's say the company sell coupons worth rupees 100 and the customer's excise coupons worth rupees 80. The difference arising due to unutilized coupons of rupees 20 adds to the profits of the company. In case the company shifts to the card system, the number of unutilized coupons will reduce due to the increased convenience to the customers. Also, coupons are susceptible to loss and theft, which are also avoided in case of the card system. This could mean increase in the amount paid to the customer and therefore decrease profits. This would have a significant impact on the profits. Great. That's what I was looking for. Let's assume the company goes ahead with the card system due to the convenience factor. What measure do you suggest to plug for the fall in profits? I would divide the measures into two, aimed at increasing revenue and aimed at reducing cost. On the revenue front, the company can evaluate whether it can analyze the data from the card system to use it in its operations. The data analytics could be valuable for food companies, and there is a potential to monetize the data. On the cost reduction side, the company can look at ways of reducing the amount paid to the retailers and restaurants. This could be done by imposing limits on points utilized at one go. frequency of usage, and limits per retailer or restaurant. However, this could have a negative implications on the brand image and customer satisfaction. This should be considered before undertaking any such measure. That brings us close to the that brings us to the close of the case. It was great interacting with the candidate pretty well. He was able to exhaustively think of every situation and come up with um, factors affecting that situation. And last, also, when he missed out something, he actually thought it through and then gave really good understanding, really good situation where the company's profit could have been affected. This was a very interesting because you cannot provide a very straightforward, structured or a protocol which you have learned in the past, and you have to really think it through because it's a very niche company which doesn't gets applied a lot of business uh, workflows or protocol which you have used such as procurement or other kinds of very standard businesses. So it was a business where you have to think as if you're in the situation and what could be the possible causes for that situation, and the candidate did a pretty good job. We'll be moving to the second part of the interview where I'll analyze the interview as a whole. Okay, it's very important to maintain a very clear and crisp interview notes because sometimes at the end of the interview, the interviewer might ask for your notes and you should be able to understand everything in one glance. Interview notes. Interest income would decrease under the new setup, leading to decrease in revenue. On the cost side, this shift can result in decrease in printing and admin cost. Check for cybersecurity issues which can arise. Shift to this business model will reduce the number of unutilized coupons. Case facts. Meal Coupon Company envisioning shift from paper-based coupons to the card-based system. Decision to be examined from a profitability perspective. Company would be the first to make this transition. And this is the most important part where the interview will be looking at how structured, how in a structured way we have thought it through and made a rough diagram of it, which is profits are divided into revenue and cost, pretty standard. Problems were on both sides, or maybe opportunities were on both sides. In revenue, there is sales of coupon and interest income earned. And in cost side, there were vendors, hotel, you have to pay for printing the paper coupons, and then you have to pay for admin cost for the whole system, new system. So in terms of impact, the income would actually decrease because the employees will be spending more initially rather than spending it later in the paper system. So in a card system, the interest income will decrease. The vendors' hotel payments uh, will actually increase, which will reduce it. So you have to pay the hotel more because more employees will be utilizing their cards, but that more payment will be is directly related to reducing your profits. Printing cost will decrease because card printing is a one-time thing, and admin cost will also decrease because you don't have to keep track of such things. You're using just the standard model from Visa and MasterCard companies. So business model is also explained, which is if you want to, for your understanding, put a business model because it's a new business model explained by the interviewer. You have put that restaurant and retailers give coupon. So so first of all, companies give cash, and Meal Coupon gives coupons to these companies, and then for restaurant and retailers, they give coupons to these companies and they give them the cash. That is the whole business model. The recommendations provided by the candidate is shifting to the card system would lead to increased card utilization, thereby increasing cost and simultaneously lower interest income earned by the company. The decrease in interest income versus potential addition of corporates in a long term will determine the feasibility of transition. In case of company goes ahead with the card system, the it could look at the data analytics as a potential revenue stream to increase profits. So these were the very interesting recommendations provided in terms of and positively in terms of going forward with the card system. Some of the observations and suggestions for the overall interview was in case of an unfamiliar business model, take some time to understand the business model and confirm whether there are any gaps in your understanding. Draw a small flowchart with the supplier, customer, customer side helps in understanding the model better. In a back-to-back business model, always check the flow of cash to check whether there are differences which could result in profits to the company. So it's pretty interesting. It was a new business model, so you first have to understand uh, and draw a rough structure for your understanding, and also you have to check whether how good is the cash flow understanding of yours, and if there is a gap missing. Because if you figure out that out, most of your you'll figure out where the problem is coming from. But if you don't have a clear understanding of the situation, that it might become very messy and then to figure out what the problem is. So that was a pretty good case study interview. The candidate did pretty well. He was able to come up with the answer, understand the new business model on the go. And so I hope you guys learned a lot from it. If you have a case study interview coming up, all the best. If you're looking to build a career in consulting and want to get exposed to not just knowledge of different industries, but also how to crack interviews if you're thrown a random industry case study interview in a management interview setup, you should know how to crack or navigate through different industries where you don't have any knowledge of. So it's a very good habit to watch my videos. I'll be uploading one video every day, so it will be a good practice for you to watch one video every day to get into the mindset of learning and forming a habit of it. And with that, I would like to thank you for watching this video till the end and hope you have a nice day.